Coach Prime hasn't been the head coach of the Colorado Buffaloes for even a full year. However, his tenure has been filled with statements. Yet this weekend, Coach Prime and the Colorado Buffaloes have the opportunity to make as big of a statement as they have yet made against number 23 UCLA. Today, we need to lightly preview this game, but we also have to talk about a challenge that Coach Prime issued to his team. Before we can, as always, y'all know the drill, I have got to hear from you. Hop down to the comments, give me a Y for yes or an N for no. Do you believe the Colorado Buffaloes can pull off a massive upset and beat UCLA this weekend? I can't wait to hear from you. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, hit that bell notification. We are right around the corner from 20,000 subscribers, and I'd love to have you a part of this unbelievable community. But having said all that, let's jump right into this. And first and foremost, I want to talk about the challenge that Coach Prime issued to his team, because it was a challenge that started after the Stanford loss, whenever Coach Prime got in front of the media and talked about how much he loved the game, talked about how much the game meant to him, and that the players were going to have to make a choice. How much do they love the game? How much do they want to give to the game of football? Well, this week, he picked up where he left off, and I'm going to quote, "I don't think we need to get away or to get a rest. We need to maintain and keep going. Just like when you break up in a relationship, do you want to buy or do you want to keep going? I want to keep going. I want to keep on moving, progressing, going forward. That's how I'm built. That's how men and women are built, to go forward. We're thankful we didn't have many injuries, but overall, we're pretty good injury-wise." And that was Coach Prime on having a bye week right after that Stanford loss. In fact, you can tell he's issuing a challenge to his team not to get complacent. Even though you took a week off, do not mentally take a week off. And he's reinforcing that same sentiment he said yet a week ago whenever he was asking his team, how much do you love the game of football? Coach Prime is a cerebral coach. That's why Coach Chip Kelly just praised him for being an old school coach who's good not only for the Colorado Buffaloes, but good for college football. Because Coach Prime understands that as much as football is a physical game, and it truly is, there's a mental component to it as well. And for you to be the best coach you can be, you both have to understand the mental and the physical aspect of the game of football, and Coach Prime is displaying to everybody that he understands just that. He's issuing a challenge to his team. Yes, that loss to Stanford was a bad loss. Yes, it's one that Colorado will want back, especially if they are going to try and go bowling. That was a game that you win that game, you only need one more win to go bowling, and that is a status that I think the majority of college football analysts across the nation didn't have Colorado coming close to. The fact that they could be going to a bowl game. Now, we talked about that all the way back in February on this channel. Me, myself, some of the guys that frequent this podcast always were saying, hey, there's a real opportunity for Coach Prime to go bowling because of some of the work he's done in the transfer portal, but it will not be easy. And this stretch of games that Coach Prime has in front of him, it's not going to be easy, and it starts this weekend with UCLA. But it's why Coach Prime issued these challenges. It's why he was very forthright in speaking after the Stanford game, issuing that question, that challenge. Then, what does this game mean to you? Because he knew, yes, Colorado had played some tough opponents up to that point, but the stretch that the Colorado Buffaloes are about to go on, it is very difficult. There are a lot of very good teams, and Coach Prime understands you're already late into the season, people are tired, but you cannot be complacent. You must progress, and that is where I thought Coach Prime's challenge was so good. He's asking his team to progress, to keep going forward, to keep getting better, and at the end of the day, that's exactly what you need. But now, let's turn our attention from the challenge Coach Prime issued to this matchup against UCLA, because I've already talked about this week. We heard Coach Chip Kelly lay praise at the feet of Coach Prime and what he has done at Colorado, the turnaround he's led, and how he's really good for college football. And this is something we've talked about frequently on this channel. I'm not going to spend much time on it. In fact, I'm one of the people who originally said Coach Prime moves the needle. I think that was one of the things that separated my channel, was that little phrase, that Coach Prime moves the needle. Time and time again, he has proved this fact to be true, and once again, you have another coach acknowledging as much. That Coach Prime is absolutely positive for college football. Look at the ratings. Look at the ticket sales. Look at the merchandise sales. Heck, look at the beverage and food sales. The Colorado AD was forthright in talking about that as well, how they have seen all profits in relation to football just soar because of Coach Prime. But this game this weekend against UCLA, it is not going to be a walk in the park. This UCLA team is pretty sneaky good. And in fact, their defense, it's one of the best defenses in the country. If we take a look at this defense, their defense is number 11 in total defense. They're number 18 in team passing defense efficiency. They have 24 sacks on the year, and the reason why that's important is because the Colorado Buffaloes rank number 129 in the nation in sacks allowed, so you can bet your bottom dollar Chip Kelly and this defense are going to pin their ears back and attack Sanders, because that's been a weakness of the Colorado offense. They are also the number 10 scoring defense in the nation. They've got a pass rusher who is going to be a first-round draft pick and a lot of talent all over that defense. Now, the offense for UCLA is still trying to figure some things out. Now, don't think I say that meaning it's not a good offense. This is a good offense. In fact, Coach Kelly talked about that he has multiple quarterbacks he feels like could be Power 5 starters, and it's a good problem to have. Dante Moore had a little bit of injury troubles. He took over for their starter, who came back against Stanford and played very well, but Coach Kelly has not yet named a starter for this game, and this week of practice will decide as much. But regardless, one of the things we have got to acknowledge is that UCLA is going to be at least good on offense, especially if your coach is Chip Kelly. They have the pieces. They're going to be able to get something done. Colorado has got to overcome arguably the best defense they have played all year, one of the best defenses in the nation. And if this offense, if this Colorado team is to overcome UCLA and get a win, you think that hype is there now. You just wait until they upset a team such as UCLA, a team that's got so much talent on it defensively, that has got so many people across college football acknowledging what they're doing on the defensive side. If Shedeur Sanders goes in there, as Shedeur is already probably going to be in New York for the Heisman Trophy ceremony, if he goes in there and lights that UCLA defense up, watch out. Watch out. There are going to be a lot of headlines after that game, but once again, it is not going to be a walk in the park. UCLA is going to give nothing to Colorado, and Colorado is going to have to take it, which is why Coach Prime is issuing these challenges, because he understands they're going to have an incredible physical challenge in front of them, but they also will have a mental challenge in front of them. The physical aspect gets addressed in practice. You're seeing the mental aspect get addressed through the media, which Coach Prime is doing and doing very well. So this is going to be a game that the eyes of college football will undoubtedly be watching, because if Colorado pulls off an upset, it is going to send reverberations across college football, and it's going to be a lot of fun to see. If Colorado was to have a path to victory, first and foremost, they have got to keep Shedeur Sanders upright, because when Shedeur Sanders stays upright, good things happen. Secondly, if you're Sean Lewis, you're going to want to be getting the ball out as quickly as possible. That way you throw off the timing of this UCLA, pass rush. UCLA is going to pin their ears back. And if all of your plays are long developing, you're doing your offense a disservice, because you're asking them to hold up a very talented pass rush. I think the recipe is going to be quick passes, getting that pass rush off balance, and then allowing the deep shots to develop throughout the game. You do that, you can nullify a pass rush. We see it time and time again. In fact, when Alabama had Will Anderson and Dallas Turner, you saw multiple offenses attempt to nullify their production by just getting the ball out as quickly as possible so that they couldn't ever start bearing down on the quarterback. Now, undoubtedly, the UCLA pass rush will get theirs. They are that good. But there are things you can do if your offensive line is struggling to mitigate the effectiveness of that pass rush. I'm going to be very interested to see what Sean Lewis does to mitigate that. Personally, I think it's going to be the quick passing game, because I think it goes right in line with what Sean Lewis wants to do as an offense, which is go quick, keep a defense on their heels. You can do that by getting the ball out the quarterback's hand to those fantastic playmakers on the outside. Also, the existence of a running game. Now, this isn't something I just started asking for. This has been the one thing I have continually asked for in relation to Colorado's offense all season, that they have got to have a running game come throughout and really show that it can be a strength of this offense. If they can do that, they're going to take more pressure off Shedeur Sanders, but they're also going to give a defense more to think about. And if a defense has more to think about, inevitably it's more ways you can attack them. And in terms of Colorado's defense, you've got to make these quarterbacks uncomfortable, and you've got to make them question what they're seeing. I think Colorado is going to be playing a lot of man to try and stop this UCLA rushing attack, because as much as Chip Kelly may not be able to name a starting quarterback, We do know one thing about UCLA. Whoever the quarterback is, as long as they don't make mistakes, this rushing attack can carry the Bruins. They are that good. Colorado's probably going to be stacking the box, which means those outside corners are going to be in a lot of man situations. It's going to be a ton of fun watching those matchups. I can't wait to hear from all of you, though. Hop down to the comments. Let me know your score prediction for the game. Do you believe Colorado can pull a massive upset off? And then, finally, let me know what you thought about the challenge that Coach Prime issued to the team. That's it. See ya.